150 million people watched Doria Ragland proudly walk her daughter down the aisle at Windsor Castle, and today that same woman has vanished from Meghan Markle's life as if she never existed. The mockery flooding social media right now is absolutely brutal, and frankly it is well deserved. Here we have a woman who has built her entire brand on being a devoted mother and family-oriented humanitarian, yet her own mother, the woman who raised her, the woman who sat in that chapel beaming with pride, is nowhere to be found. Sources say Meghan purchased Doria a home just minutes away from the Montecito mansion, reportedly worth several $1,000,000. And yet, despite this convenient proximity, Doria Ragland might as well be living on another planet for all the public appearances she has made recently. The internet has noticed, folks, and the internet is not being kind. Comment sections and social media threads are overflowing with people pointing out the glaring hypocrisy of a woman who publicly estranged herself from her father, her half-siblings, and virtually everyone else in her family, now apparently doing the same thing to the one person she always claimed had her back unconditionally. One particularly savage observer wrote that Meghan collects and discards people like designer handbags, and honestly, that assessment is getting harder and harder to argue with. The contrast between then and now is so jarring that even casual observers are starting to ask uncomfortable questions. Let us be brutally honest here. When Meghan and Harry sat down for that infamous Oprah interview, Doria was presented as her rock, her foundation, the one family member who had always supported her without question. We were told this beautiful story of a mother-daughter bond that had survived everything, including Meghan's rise to fame, her marriage to a prince, and her departure from the royal family. That narrative was essential to Meghan's image, because it proved she was capable of maintaining healthy family relationships despite what the Markle side would have us believe. But now that image is shattering in real time. Insiders close to the situation are whispering that something significant has changed between mother and daughter, something that Meghan is desperately trying to keep out of the press. One source put it bluntly, saying Doria is tired, she is exhausted, and she wants no part of the circus anymore. Another claimed that there was a specific incident, involving of all things a controversial handbag, that marked a turning point in their relationship. The details of that incident are murky, but what is crystal clear is that the woman who was once Meghan's biggest cheerleader has gone completely silent. But Doria's disappearance is just the tip of this very troubling iceberg, and the pattern of her absence reveals something that Meghan absolutely does not want you to see. Think about this for a moment. When was the last time you actually saw Doria Ragland anywhere near Meghan Markle? Take your time, really think about it. If you are struggling to come up with an answer, you are not alone, because social media sleuths have been tracking this mysterious absence for months now, and what they have discovered is genuinely startling. Doria has been completely absent from every single recent Meghan event, including the polo matches, the Netflix premiere appearances, the charity functions, and the various public outings that Meghan seems to manufacture on a weekly basis. The woman is a ghost, and people are finally starting to ask why. What makes this even more remarkable is the sheer amount of content Meghan has been producing lately. Between the Netflix deal and her various projects, there have been countless opportunities for a proud grandmother to appear alongside her daughter and grandchildren. Yet Doria has declined every single one, or perhaps more accurately, she has not been invited. Sources close to the family suggest that Doria has made it clear she has no interest in being filmed or photographed for any of Meghan's commercial ventures. One insider revealed that Doria told people close to her that she did not sign up to be a reality television grandmother, and that observation cuts right to the heart of the matter. The irony here is absolutely staggering when you consider how Meghan has positioned herself in the marketplace. Her entire brand, the very foundation of her post-royal commercial empire, is built on the idea that she is a devoted family woman. She is constantly photographed with Archie and Lilibet, or at least their silhouettes. She talks endlessly about motherhood and family values. She has literally built multimedia ventures around the concept of modern family life. And yet her own mother, the person who should be her closest ally, is conspicuously absent from every frame. Social media users have compiled timelines and visual evidence documenting exactly how long it has been since Doria appeared alongside Meghan in any capacity. The research is damning. After the initial flurry of appearances around the wedding and Archie's birth, Doria essentially vanished. Oh sure, there have been occasional sightings of her in Los Angeles going about her daily life, but standing next to Meghan at any public event? Absolutely not. One commenter noted that Doria gets spotted at the grocery store more than she gets spotted with her own daughter, and the observation landed with devastating accuracy. For those who still believe Meghan's carefully cultivated narrative about being a loving daughter with a wonderful relationship with her mother, these facts should give you serious pause. People with genuinely close relationships do not disappear from each other's lives so completely, especially when they live mere minutes apart and share access to unlimited resources and opportunities. Something is very, very wrong in Montecito, and Meghan's team is working overtime to make sure we never find out what. But here is where the story takes an even stranger turn, because sources are now revealing details about a specific incident involving a luxury handbag that may have changed everything between mother and daughter. Now let me tell you about the handbag situation, because this is where things get genuinely bizarre. According to multiple sources, there was an incident involving a high-end designer bag that Meghan allegedly gifted to Doria, and the circumstances surrounding that gift have raised serious eyebrows among those familiar with the situation. We are not talking about a simple birthday present here. We are talking about a gesture that some insiders interpreted as Meghan attempting to buy her mother's compliance, or perhaps more disturbingly, her silence. The details that have emerged paint a troubling picture. Sources claim that Meghan presented Doria with an extraordinarily expensive handbag, the kind of accessory that costs more than many people make in several months, around the same time that Doria was reportedly expressing discomfort with how her image was being used for Meghan's brand building. One insider described the gift as feeling transactional, like Meghan was paying her mother off rather than simply being generous. Another source claimed that Doria was visibly uncomfortable with the gesture and what it represented, allegedly telling friends that she felt like she was being treated as an employee rather than a mother. Let that sink in for a moment. Meghan's own mother reportedly felt that expensive gifts came with strings attached, with expectations of loyalty and public support that Doria was increasingly unwilling to provide. This is not some estranged relative making accusations from a distance. This is allegedly how Meghan treats the one person who has always been in her corner, the woman who raised her, supported her dreams, and stood proudly beside her on her wedding day. If these accounts are accurate, and multiple sources are confirming similar stories, then the pattern is deeply disturbing. What makes this even more significant is the broader context of Doria's apparent discomfort with Meghan's Hollywood transformation. Sources close to Doria suggest that she has privately expressed concern about who her daughter has become since leaving the royal family. One person familiar with her thinking said Doria does not recognize the person Meghan is portraying on camera, and that she finds the constant publicity and commercial ventures exhausting and inauthentic. For a woman who has spent her life as a yoga instructor and social worker, the glitz and superficiality of Meghan's current existence must feel like a foreign universe. The handbag incident, according to those familiar with the situation, was merely a symptom of a much deeper problem. It represented everything that was going wrong between mother and daughter: the materialism, the transactional nature of their interactions, and the sense that Doria was expected to perform on command. Whether or not Meghan intended the gift that way is almost irrelevant. What matters is how it was received and what it revealed about the changing dynamics of their relationship. But the luxury handbag drama was apparently just a symptom of something much deeper that had been brewing between them for a very long time. Here is something that should make everyone pause and really think about what Meghan is selling versus what she is actually living. Doria Ragland only seems to materialize when Meghan needs something from her, specifically credibility, authenticity, or let us be brutally honest here, diversity optics. The pattern is so obvious that even casual observers have started mocking it openly, and the criticism is absolutely merciless. One prominent commentator recently noted that Doria gets rolled out like a prop whenever Meghan needs to prove she has at least one family member who can stand to be in the same room with her, and that assessment, while harsh, is becoming increasingly difficult to dispute. Let us break down the timeline, shall we? Doria appeared front and center at the royal wedding, positioned perfectly for maximum photographic impact. She was there for Archie's birth announcement, providing that crucial image of 3 generations together. She made carefully orchestrated appearances during the early months of the Sussex independence era, and then, almost like someone flipped a switch, she vanished. The appearances that once seemed natural and loving began to feel forced and strategic, and eventually they stopped altogether. Sources say this was not accidental, that Doria made a conscious decision to step back from the spotlight. Critics have been absolutely savage in their assessment of this pattern. One viral social media thread cataloged every Doria appearance alongside the corresponding publicity need Meghan had at that moment, and the correlation was impossible to ignore. Wedding day visibility for maximum fairy tale impact. Baby announcement appearance to establish the happy family narrative. Oprah interview era availability to counter accusations about Meghan's family estrangement. And then nothing. Absolutely nothing. Once the initial image building was complete. Those close to Doria say she has privately expressed exhaustion with being what one source called a human prop. The source elaborated that Doria feels like she is only contacted when Meghan needs something for her image, and that the relationship has become entirely one-sided. Another insider claimed that Doria told friends she did not raise her daughter to be a celebrity and does not understand when the woman she knew disappeared. These are devastating admissions from someone who should be Meghan's closest ally, and they suggest a profound disconnect between the public image Meghan projects and the private reality she lives. The mockery online has been relentless. Memes comparing Doria to a cardboard cutout that Meghan stores in a closet until needed have gone viral. Comments suggesting that Doria should invoice Meghan for appearance fees have garnered thousands of likes. The public has clearly grown tired of the performative family values that Meghan sells while apparently maintaining no genuine family connections whatsoever. And the louder the mockery becomes, the more conspicuous Doria's continued absence becomes. But the social media ridicule is about to reach an entirely new level of brutality, and what people are saying about the mother-daughter disconnect is absolutely devastating. The mockery flooding social media platforms right now has reached a fever pitch that even the most seasoned publicist would struggle to contain. We are not talking about a few snarky comments from anonymous accounts here. We are talking about a coordinated avalanche of brutal observations, savage memes, and pointed questions that Meghan Markle absolutely cannot answer. The hashtags tracking Doria's disappearance have been trending for weeks, and the commentary has been nothing short of merciless in its assessment of what this absence reveals about Meghan's character. Let me share some of what is being said, because the observations are cutting right to the bone. One particularly viral post noted that Meghan has managed to estrange herself from literally every family member on both sides, and asked at what point we start recognizing the common denominator. Another massively shared comment suggested that even Doria, who was supposedly Team Meghan through everything, apparently cannot stand to be around her anymore. The engagement on these posts is astronomical, suggesting that the public has grown deeply skeptical of the family-oriented image Meghan continues to sell. Prominent royal commentators have been equally brutal in their assessments. One well-known analyst stated on their program that watching Meghan pretend to value family while her own mother is nowhere to be seen is the height of hypocrisy. Another commentator asked pointedly how many family members need to disappear from someone's life before we acknowledge that the problem might be that person. A third observer noted that Meghan's brand is built on authenticity and connection, yet she cannot seem to maintain a single genuine family relationship, which tells you everything about how authentic she actually is. The mockery ties into a broader criticism that has been building for years now, namely that Meghan's entire public persona is a carefully constructed facade with no substance behind it. The family values she espouses in interviews and Netflix documentaries ring increasingly hollow when her own family situation is examined with any scrutiny whatsoever. Her father is estranged, her half-siblings are estranged, her former friends have almost universally distanced themselves, and now it appears even her mother is pulling away. The pattern is impossible to ignore, and the public is no longer willing to extend the benefit of the doubt. Social media users have compiled devastating side-by-side comparisons showing Meghan talking about the importance of family support, alongside evidence of her complete isolation from anyone who shares her blood. The contrast is jarring, and has fueled accusations that everything Meghan presents to the public is performance, not reality. One comment that garnered hundreds of thousands of engagements simply stated that when everyone around you disappears, the common thread is you, and that observation has become something of a rallying cry for critics. But some observers have noticed something even more troubling than Doria's absence. Something about Meghan's physical appearance that has sparked an entirely new wave of speculation and ridicule. While everyone has been focused on Doria's mysterious disappearance, something else has been happening that sharp-eyed observers cannot help but notice. Meghan Markle's face appears to have undergone a significant transformation in recent months, and the speculation about cosmetic procedures has ignited yet another firestorm of criticism and mockery. Critics are connecting these alleged physical changes to a broader pattern they claim reveals Meghan's true character, and the accusations are absolutely brutal. Before and after photographs have been circulating widely, with commentators pointing to changes in her nose, her lips, her overall facial structure, and suggesting these alterations represent more than just aging or different lighting. Cosmetic surgery experts who have weighed in, while careful to note they have not treated Meghan personally, have suggested the visible differences are consistent with various procedures. One specialist noted the likelihood of significant intervention, while another suggested multiple treatments would be required to achieve such changes. The public reaction to these observations has been merciless. What makes this particularly damaging for Meghan's image is the way critics have connected the physical transformation to her relationship with Doria. Some commentators have suggested that Meghan is literally trying to erase parts of herself, including her relationship with her mother, and perhaps even features that connect her to her heritage. One particularly cutting observation noted that it is fascinating to watch Meghan simultaneously market herself as a proud biracial woman while allegedly altering the features that made her look like her mother. The accusation of hypocrisy embedded in that statement landed with devastating impact across social platforms. Others have taken a different approach, mocking what they perceive as Meghan's obsession with appearance and image at the expense of genuine human connections. If she spent half as much time nurturing relationships as she apparently spends on procedures, one popular comment read, maybe she would still have a family. Another observer pointed out that all the fillers and surgeries in the world cannot fill the void of having no one who actually loves you for who you are. These comments, while harsh, reflect a growing public sentiment that Meghan's priorities are fundamentally misaligned. The transformation scrutiny has also raised questions about authenticity that strike at the very heart of Meghan's brand. She has built her public persona on being relatable, genuine, and comfortable in her own skin. Yet the evidence suggesting extensive cosmetic work contradicts that carefully constructed image. Sources say this disconnect has not been lost on Doria, who reportedly finds the constant physical alterations concerning and has expressed worry about what it says about her daughter's mental state. Whether true or not, the speculation has added another layer to the growing narrative of a woman losing touch with reality. But Meghan is not the only one showing signs of strain, and Harry's own behavior at recent events has fueled even more concerning rumors about what is happening behind closed doors. Something is very clearly wrong with Prince Harry, and anyone who has watched him at recent public appearances can see it written all over his face. The man looks exhausted, detached, and visibly uncomfortable standing next to his wife at event after event. Body language experts have been having a field day analyzing his posture, his expressions, and his apparent disconnection from Meghan during their joint appearances. The observations they are making should concern anyone who cares about what this man is going through. At several recent polo events and public outings, cameras captured Harry looking distant and almost pained. Experts noted that his body language suggests someone who is present physically but mentally somewhere else entirely. One analyst pointed to specific moments where Harry appeared to flinch or pull away when Meghan touched him, suggesting discomfort with physical affection in public. Another expert highlighted what they called textbook signs of emotional exhaustion in his facial expressions and posture. The consensus among those who study nonverbal communication is that Harry is struggling with something significant. Particularly noted has been what observers are calling the bald spot moments, instances where stress-related hair loss has become visible during events. While this might seem like a superficial observation, experts suggest it can be a physiological indicator of chronic stress and anxiety. One commentator noted that stress affects the body in visible ways, and that Harry's appearance tells a story of a man under immense pressure. The public has noticed these changes, and the commentary has been surprisingly sympathetic toward the prince, even as it remains harsh toward his wife. The question many are asking is whether Harry has noticed the Doria situation and what it might mean for his own future. If Meghan's closest ally, her own mother, has apparently decided she cannot be around her anymore, what does that suggest about Harry's eventual fate? Critics have pointed out that Harry has already been isolated from his entire British family, his lifelong friends, and everyone who knew him before Meghan. Now he is watching his wife's last remaining family connection evaporate. One observer asked bluntly, how long before Harry realizes he might be next? And the question hung in the air with uncomfortable relevance. Sources close to the couple suggest that Harry has privately questioned Meghan about her mother's absence, and that these conversations have not gone well. One insider claimed that Harry mentioned wanting the children to spend more time with their grandmother, only to be met with deflection and excuses. Another source suggested Harry has expressed concern about the pattern of people disappearing from their lives, though Meghan reportedly dismisses these concerns as him being influenced by negative media coverage. But industry insiders are now warning that 2025 is make or break for the Sussex brand, and without family authenticity, everything they have built could come crashing down. Without genuine family connections to display, Meghan Markle's entire commercial empire is built on foundations of sand, and the cracks are becoming impossible to hide. Her brand has always depended on projecting an image of warmth, authenticity, and close family bonds. But when you strip away the professional photography and the carefully edited content, what you find is a woman who appears to have no meaningful family relationships whatsoever. The Doria absence is not just personally sad, it is professionally devastating. Consider for a moment what Meghan is actually selling to her various business partners. The Netflix deal requires content that resonates with audiences who crave authenticity and relatability. The lifestyle brand she has been teasing demands a spokesperson whose life actually reflects the values being promoted. The wellness and motherhood content she produces needs credibility that can only come from genuine experience. And all of it, every single venture, depends on the perception that Meghan Markle is a woman with real relationships and real family connections. The Doria disappearance threatens to expose all of it as manufactured illusion. Business analysts have begun weighing in on what this means for the Sussex commercial prospects, and their assessments are not optimistic. One industry insider noted that brands partner with influencers because they believe those influencers have authentic lives that audiences connect with, and when that authenticity is revealed as performance, the value proposition collapses. Another analyst suggested that Meghan's inability to maintain even basic family relationships raises serious questions about her judgment and character, qualities that matter enormously to potential business partners making multi-million-dollar decisions. The timing could not be worse for the Sussexes. Reports suggest their Netflix relationship has been strained by underwhelming performance metrics, and renewal negotiations are approaching. Their Spotify deal already collapsed spectacularly, with executives allegedly describing them as grifters who did not deliver on their promises. Book sales have disappointed. Podcast numbers have disappointed. And now, with the Doria story gaining traction, the very foundation of Meghan's marketability is being called into question. If she cannot sell the family woman image, what exactly is she selling? Sources within the entertainment industry suggest that executives have noticed the pattern and are becoming increasingly wary. One insider revealed that during a recent meeting about potential partnerships, an executive asked directly about Meghan's family situation and whether it presented a reputational risk. Another source claimed that a major brand passed on a collaboration specifically because they could not reconcile Meghan's family values messaging with the reality of her isolation from every blood relative. The business implications of the Doria disappearance extend far beyond personal embarrassment, but perhaps there is a reason Doria is deliberately staying far away from the cameras right now, and the theories about her silence are absolutely fascinating. The theories about why Doria Ragland has vanished from public view are multiplying by the day, and some of them are absolutely explosive in their implications. Depending on who you ask, Doria is either protecting herself legally, disagreeing fundamentally with how the grandchildren are being raised, dealing with undisclosed health issues, or experiencing a genuine and possibly permanent estrangement from her daughter. Each theory has its supporters, and each raises deeply uncomfortable questions that Meghan clearly does not want to address. Let us start with the legal protection theory, which has been gaining significant traction among observers who follow the Sussexes closely. Some speculate that Doria has been advised by attorneys to distance herself from Meghan's various public statements and commercial ventures. The reasoning goes that if Meghan were ever to face legal consequences for claims made in interviews or content, Doria would want to be completely separate from any potential liability. Sources suggest Doria has always been more cautious than her daughter, and may have finally put her foot down about being associated with increasingly risky public narratives. Then there is the theory about disagreements over the children, which might be the most heartbreaking possibility of all. Some insiders suggest that Doria has privately expressed concerns about how Archie and Lilibet are being raised, particularly regarding their exposure to media and their isolation from other family members. One source claimed that Doria believes the children deserve relationships with their British cousins and extended family, positions that reportedly put her at odds with Meghan's approach. Another insider suggested Doria has questioned whether the children are being used as props rather than being allowed normal childhoods. The health theory has also circulated, though it has the least supporting evidence. Some have suggested that Doria may be dealing with personal health challenges that have kept her from public appearances. However, sightings of her in Los Angeles, looking healthy and active, have largely undermined this explanation. If Doria were seriously ill, one would expect Meghan to be spending more time with her, not less. The absence of any increased contact suggests health is not the primary driver of the separation. Perhaps most troubling is the theory that Doria may have formed opinions about Harry himself that created irreconcilable friction with Meghan. Some sources suggest Doria has privately questioned whether Harry is good for her daughter, or conversely whether Meghan is good for Harry. The idea that a mother might see her daughter's marriage as unhealthy and feel unable to remain silent about it is genuinely tragic. Historical parallels to Meghan's estrangement from her father's side of the family only make this theory more plausible. If Doria expressed concerns and Meghan responded as she typically responds to criticism, the fallout could explain everything. But there is one brutal question that the public keeps asking. A question that cuts right to the heart of who Meghan Markle really is, and it is a question she cannot possibly answer. The mockery, the speculation, and the endless commentary about Doria Ragland's disappearance all point to something much larger than a family disagreement or scheduling conflict. What the public is really reacting to is the profound disconnect between who Meghan Markle claims to be and who she appears to actually be. The woman who lectures the world about compassion, connection, and family values apparently cannot maintain a single genuine family relationship. The woman who demands empathy from everyone extends it to no one in her own life. And the woman who positions herself as a victim of family dysfunction has now created dysfunction in every family she has ever been part of. Here is the question that cuts through all the noise, the question that keeps appearing in comment sections and social media threads and talk show discussions. If Meghan Markle cannot maintain a relationship with the mother who raised her, supported her unconditionally, and stood by her through every controversy, what does that reveal about who she actually is as a person? It is a devastating question precisely because there is no good answer. Either Meghan has treated her mother so poorly that even unconditional love reached its limit, or Meghan has chosen career and image over her relationship with her own mother. Neither explanation reflects well on someone who sells herself as a paragon of family values. The silence from Doria speaks volumes that no press release or carefully worded statement could ever match. This is a woman who clearly has opinions, who clearly loves her daughter, or at least did at one point, and who clearly made a conscious decision to step away from the circus. That decision, whatever prompted it, suggests that being close to Meghan came with costs that Doria was no longer willing to pay. When your own mother decides that distance is preferable to proximity, The problem is not your mother. The problem is you. What we are witnessing in real time is the complete unraveling of a carefully constructed narrative that Meghan has spent years building. The loving family woman image cannot survive the reality that her mother has vanished. The authentic, relatable brand ambassador image cannot survive the evidence of total isolation from everyone who actually knows her. The compassionate humanitarian image cannot survive the pattern of discarding people once they have served their purpose. Everything Meghan has built is built on lies, and the Doria situation is exposing those lies for the world to see. Some say the truth always has a way of surfacing eventually, and Doria Ragland's deafening silence may be the loudest statement of all. Every day that passes without a mother-daughter appearance is another day the public grows more convinced that something is deeply wrong. Every opportunity missed for grandmother-grandchild content is another crack in the foundation of Meghan's brand. And every theory that circulates about what caused this rift is another reminder that the woman who demands the world's sympathy has earned nothing but its skepticism. Drop your thoughts below, like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The next video is waiting, and you will not believe what is coming next.